All right, President Taco Tits has been out and about and making crazy statements all the time, but I believe his mental acuity is so declined. Every time I see him, I think this guy got a day pass from the memory wing of the assisted living center nursing home. And he's out on his day pass and they put him in front of cameras. And if you think I'm lying here, watch this. Watch the way this man speaks and his train of thought. This is a guy on a day pass from the nursing home. Play the clip.
Macron was a good man. I said, what are you doing? He goes, we're celebrating World War II, our victory. I said, your victory? Your victory. Tell me about that. And then I called somebody else, and I happened to speak to President Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it? He fought with us in World War II, and everybody hates him. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. You know, someday somebody will explain that, but I like Germany and Japan too. But Putin is a little confused by that, you know. He said, we lost 51 million people and we were your ally, and now everybody hates Russia and they love Germany and Japan. I said, let's explain that sometime, okay? But it's a strange world. But I will say this, look, I want them to go away saying how great our country is and how great our military is. And I was making all these calls, and for some reason I spoke to like 4 different places. Sir, are you celebrating? And I said, you know, we won World War II and World War I, right? We won them. And yet we're the only country that doesn't celebrate. Everybody's celebrating except us. And I said, we should celebrate too.
Okay. First and foremost, the fact that Fox News went on about Kamala Harris being word salad is just so rich. Number 2, we have a president of the United States that doesn't understand what happened immediately after the ending of World War II to current times. He jumps over multiple decades and thinks that everybody should love Vladimir Putin, who is a dictator, a murderer, a human rights violator. By all accounts, this man should be in bracelets in a padded cell, immediately held to account. But he doesn't understand. It's like he's mentally at the end of World War II, and he and Putin are kind of hanging out there. And we're in 2025. He doesn't understand history. Nobody's taught him about it. Or again, this is the day pass from the memory care center.
Okay, 2 things about this. Number 1, I get so tired of the 51 million Russian. It was not 51 million. He said that over and over again. That is a lie. It was between 26 million and 26.6 million. That's how many. So I don't know if they've told him and he doesn't remember, he chooses not to care, or he just has that in his mind. Either way, any way you slice it, it's a lie, and it's messed up that he keeps saying it. And then for him to go to defend Putin, just like you said, is ridiculous. And all of this word salad is to defend his military birthday parade, because he wants to say, oh, we're celebrating because we're the only people that don't celebrate. The only reason he's doing this parade is to enhance his ego. It's for his pride. So save us the bullshit.
All right. And here's Governor Newsom responding to questions about Trump's birthday party.
In response to this military event.
Do it peacefully. It's a vulgar display. It's the kind of thing you see Kim Jong-un, you see it Putin, you see it with dictators around the world that are weak and just want to demonstrate strength. Weakness masquerading as strength. To fet the dear leader on his birthday, what an embarrassment. Honestly, that's about as small as it gets. How weak do you have to be to commandeer the military to fet you on your birthday in a vulgar display of weakness? That's Donald Trump.
It is absolute weakness. And I have always been so shocked at every day that I see Donald Trump speak. I hear him emasculate himself
Yes.
because he whines and he complains and he has these grievances. And then I'll be in an airport and there's all that MAGA coated shirt you see on these, guys that probably take a lot of supplements and hit creatine and listen to Joe Rogan. And they have their little with the American flag on it. And I'm a big boy and I like lions and I like grenades. And they act like they're such tough guys and they're the party of personal accountability. Yet when you hear these MAGA men speak, they're so weak. Like it's titty baby parade, nonstop grievances. And then the men that choose to emasculate themselves by defending one of the weakest men I have ever seen. Like here we have a man, President Taco Tits, that is completely out of shape, apparently shits himself, apparently has a catheter in, because he can't control his bladder. He can't blend his makeup. He dyes his hair. He has it in a loop-de-doo kind of Dr. Seuss kind of wraparound. And the whole thing to me is so breathtakingly weak and emasculating from start to finish. And the fact that they don't stand up for the weak, like when I think of gender roles, traditional stereotypical gender roles, the hero always defends the weak and the vulnerable. But in the MAGA world, their leader attacks the vulnerable. And then all of these, limp dick alpha men just jump on the back of the parade and it's just circle jerk city because they feel so strong for beating weak people down.
Well, they're bullies. It is a party of absolute bullies. And you look at Elon Musk, his number 2 guy. I'm sitting there going, who is the bigger titty baby crying about being a victim? Is it Elon Musk or Donald Trump? And then you have
I gotta go Trump.
You do?
I do. We have years and years and
That's
years.
true.
And Musk is on ketamine and ecstasy and mushrooms per the New York Times report. Trump's doing all this shit sober.
Allegedly. He's allegedly sober, which makes it worse. I mean, it makes it worse for Trump, for sure. And all these men, for example, Mike Johnson and the rest of them, Jim Comer, that sit there and they make excuses and lies for this bully. It is the biggest group of beta male teeny weenies I've ever seen in my life.
It's really fascinating, the juxtaposition of their outward facing selves. We're so masculine, we're Joe Rogan bros, and we are MAGA, we like Trump, and it's all this machismo. And then behind it is just this breathtaking insecurity. You might remember I was on CNN and I got into a little altercation with the Shark Tank guy, right? Wasn't it Kevin? And it was interesting because when we walked into the studio, I mean, on TV, he looks, I thought he would be really tall. And no disrespect to short people anywhere, because a lot of people are not tall and they don't have issues with it. But this guy was really short. I'm 5'10", and I was, like a head taller than him walking in. And I thought, that's really at the core of the entire MAGA movement, is all of these men have this profound insecurity. Like clearly this guy's got like a Napoleon complex, right?
Well, he calls himself Mr. Wonderful.
Right. And so it's just fascinating because when I saw him in person, I was like, this little small man, like this is... No wonder you fight for all of this faux masculinity and this faux strength, and you think you're such a badass. Here's something I want to talk about. I think it is the weakest thing on the planet to be a very wealthy person and then fight for more wealth. Like that is like what's expected. To me, like when you see what Christy Walton is doing right now for these protests. Here's a woman that's a billionaire. Keyword there, she's a woman.
Right.
And she buys a full page ad in the New York Times and other papers to promote the No Kings protest. She doesn't give a fuck. That is strength. And strength is beyond gender. Sarah McBride, the congresswoman that we had on, the first trans congresswoman in the United States of America. To me, that's incredible amount of strength to be able to march into the House of Representatives every day around a bunch of people that are uber obsessed with your genitals. Meanwhile, their side hustle is Bible study all the time. It's this really weird thing. But anyway, okay, we could go on and on about this forever. But Pumps brought up Moses Mike, play the clip.
I think the senator's actions, my view is it was wildly inappropriate. You don't charge a sitting cabinet secretary, and everybody can draw their own conclusions. You can see it's a heated debate here. I'm not going to respond to that. Look, let me just, hold on, wait just a second. I think the American people can draw their own conclusions. They saw a senator acting like wildly inappropriate. I'll leave it at that. So.
What did that guy say?
He kept going, liar, you're a liar.
The one that walked by, he said something.
Well, here's the thing. Mike Johnson knows he's lying. So when he gets called out, it's embarrassing, or it should be, if he has an ounce of decency, which I'm beginning to wonder. But he knows. We all saw the video. It's like January 6th. It was a peaceful protest. They're saying hang Mike Pence, kill Nancy, and throwing shit, breaking windows. That's not peaceful. This was not charging a cabinet member. This was trying to ask a question after identifying yourself. They fucking lie, and their base is so stupid they believe it. And I just want to bring up one thing. Remember all the Donald Trump meme coins? They have him on a good body. And people buy it and wear those shirts. Just a reminder.
Oh, the homoerotic Photoshop. Yeah. And I want to say you said something about Mike Johnson lying. And if we really look like, you know, we like to be armchair psychiatrists. And if we really look at Mike Johnson's life in its entirety, the whole thing is a lie. Like, I always feel like it's a complete red flag when you see a heterosexual male that's completely obsessed with the gay movement. An alleged heterosexual male. And so this man is like one of his biggest things in the world. One of his biggest life mission is the pray the gay away and all of this anti-gay stuff. Meanwhile, he has a roommate in Washington, D.C., who is an evangelical preacher, megachurch preacher, who also is equally as laser focused on no gay marriage and praying the gay away. In my opinion, we've got a couple of closet case people that live in D.C. And just like Lindsey Graham and others, these people sadly hate themselves so much because they were indoctrinated into this cruel religion of evangelical Christianity that they go out and advocate against their own right to let the hinges fly off the closet and live their very best gay life. Instead, they would rather beat everyone else down around them. And I just think this should be something that we have to normalize talking about. If a religion says that being gay is a sin or wrong or shouldn't happen, that religion is a cult. Yeah. Period.
Well, let me just point out one other thing. Mr. Moses, Mike Johnson thinks he's Moses. Lying is against the commandments. So he right there is breaking a commandment right there in front of our very eyes.
Also, I think probably having impure thoughts about members of the same sex. And let's just face it, when rubber hits the road, if you're Moses, Mike Johnson, he's not thinking about boobies and vaginas. And last up, let's hear from Governor Newsom on Moses Mike.
The courts will. I think look, I'm counting on these separations of power. It's the co-equal branches of government. Co-equal, Mr. President, branches of government. He's eliminated one, or they eliminated themselves. That's called Congress. Speaker Johnson, who his eloquence was elevated when he called to, quote unquote, tar and feather the governor of California. That's the speaker. Very religious man. I guess that's the spirit. The word, the Lord. He's abdicated any oversight and responsibility over the President of the United States. There's one branch remaining, and that's the judicial branch. So my response to you is we count on the judicial branch, but
that's the way right there. Call the Christian hypocrites out. They will freak out and they will say, oh, we're being persecuted. Don't let them have it. They don't get to weaponize their religion whenever they want to. And then when they're criticized for their weaponization of their religion, claim persecution. The gig is up. And I love that Gavin Newsom calls this out, because this is what has entrenched and just hypnotized so many Americans, middle Americans, even in the Northern California, Orange County megachurch central. So this is in all 50 states, and you cannot attack MAGA without attacking their faux Christianity and their breathtaking religious hypocrisy. It is at the epicenter of this movement, and it is the permission structure that these people use to justify their triple Trump vote.
Absolutely. And the irony of the whole thing is Donald Trump is not religious, and they put all that, like 97% of them believe. It's the hypocrisy has got to be called out.
All right, that's all we have for today. We'll see you all later.